Lauren Ashley, the Pieces of Me. Today I have my great friend, Vincent Scott. I'm just playing. That's not his real name. Hey, Vince.
It's too late. He's already too real.
So Vince is joining me. We have had some really good discussions in regards to everything that's going on with the death of Nipsey Hussle. How everybody's responding as far as Lauren London is concerned, and it really just brought into the forefront and the limelight Black love, ultimately, and the struggles of being a Black man in America, and also the struggles of being a Black woman in America. So, with that being said, we're going to get into our meme, and the first meme says, "Black men, I'm praying for y'all. The hardest job is being a black man in America, especially if you stand for something." Hey, Black man.
What's up?
So, what is it like being you in America?
Well, I mean, we can't start this discussion without, just peace to Nip.
Yeah.
And even though it's been said, to say it again. I think there's merit to that meme because there's so much around being a Black man in America that is challenging and very specific struggles that only Black men have to deal with.
That's right.
If you look at the death of Nipsey Hussle, immediately there's controversy swirling around, was he killed because of this? Was it the government? There's rumors, and that only happens when Black men die. That's only a conversation. Did the government take him out because of his progress? When it's a Black man who's killed.
All the conspiracy theories start rolling around.
That doesn't happen when,
That's real.
Other members of other races are killed. It's not assumed to be a conspiracy. So it's like, did your progress kill you or did your community kill you?
Yeah.
And that's like, damn, that's where we max out as Black men? Like, these are your options?
Right.
So, that and just, medley of other struggles piled on top is just like, yeah, there's a very specific experience that Black men live through, and I think this brought all that to the forefront. Like, let's not forget about that.
No, I think that's real, and I think even the little nuances, like we all have things like DWB, driving while Black,
right? Where
other people from other backgrounds and other races will hear them and be like, oh, well, it's almost comical, but at the end of the day, like, that's real,
right?
Like, we always have that fear of when a police gets behind us. We always have that fear of just depending on where you're at, are you going to be a target? And I think, to your point, the hardest part about this is the fact that, is it going to be Black on Black crime that's going to take us out? Is it going to be the conspiracies? Is it going to be the police? Is it going to be the government? Depending on what you're doing or what your lifestyle is. I think the craziest part about this in particular is the fact that all of the amazing things that Nipsey was doing in the community, what he was doing with the documentary, what he was doing as far as almost recreating Black Wall Street and focusing on entrepreneurship in a community that otherwise really wouldn't have had it.
Right.
So it's so unfortunate to think that with all of this, another Black man comes and takes him out, regardless of the conspiracy theories behind it.
Yeah, and people say we did that. That was us. We took us out. And I understand, but I'm just like, for people that find themselves in that position, I don't claim them. Like, the brother who decided to do that, I can't claim you as us.
Right.
Not us.
No.
You are against this
everything
metaphorical us.
Right.
So though it's true, your skin is Black, and the Black on Black crime thing becomes the big piece of the conversation. But I would hope that we could kind of redefine us.
Yeah.
Because that to me, if you could do that, then you're not part of this us we're talking about.
No, that's real. And I think the fact that Nipsey was building such a legacy is why this particular incident hurt so much, and his passing hurt so much. People are saying that he's the Tupac of our time. And me and you have had the conversation as far as he got more years than Pac did.
Right.
But I think that for everything that he was doing, everyone could see a little bit of themselves in Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah.
In some way, shape, form, or fashion. Whether you've been gangbanging your whole life, or whether you're trying to be an activist, or whether you were just a black man in America trying to make it. I think with that particular meme, what resonates with me so much is it says it's hard to be a black man in America, and the light on Lauren London just proved how hard it is to be a black woman in America. Period.
For sure.
Especially a black woman that loves a black man.
For sure.
Because everything that you talked about, we have to worry about not just the things that we deal with, but also what you guys are dealing with. You know, we put the nucleus, we put the family on our back all the time. Right. So to be able to build and to have something with somebody, and then to have the fear of losing it, not because you walked away, but because someone took it from you, is just crazy to me.
Yeah, no, and I can only imagine the amount of stress that comes with that. And no, I hear that 100%. The challenge of, you know, womanhood is something that I can't relate to.
Right.
I have seen and can try to imagine, but you add on that layer of blackness on top of that, and now it's amplified. And then you put the layer on top of it of now you've placed compassion and love and concern.
That nurturing spirit.
Naturally on a black man who, no matter what you do, you know, now you kind of innately want to have a sense of, you want to be a protector. Right. Because you just feel like that you can. Yeah. But, you know, you can't. Yeah. At some point, be it a son or a loved one or a partner, you know, man got to go to handle business and do what he feels like is best for him, and try to carry his own weight. Yeah. And, you know, in this circumstances, you know, in the circumstance with Nipsey Hussle, it was very unique, obviously, because of the neighborhood he chose to stay in, the neighborhood he chose to build, and the way he chose to do it. Right. But for any black man in America, you know, the circumstances still could come to a head at any moment. Yeah. And, you know, you find yourself in a similar situation, then it's just unfortunate. Yeah, it's interesting because I think about what Malcolm X said about the most disrespected, unprotected, and neglected person in America is the black woman. It's a fact. It's a fact. And it's crazy because I think that sometimes, like, being a black man, you're always like, you always have this like protective shield on you, right? And sometimes being a black woman, depending on where you're at, you're like, okay, like, I'm, you know, my hair done today, I'm ready, I'm this, I'm that, and then something like this happens, and it brings you back to reality so quickly. Yeah. That you could be on top of the world, and in a moment, just everything is taken from you. And I think that also being a woman, not only do we have to worry about our man, but we have to worry about the men in our lives. We have to worry about our fathers. We have to worry about our sons. We have to worry about the person that is, the people that are protecting us. So I don't know. It's very unfortunate, and my heart goes out to Lauren London. Sure. My heart goes out to any black woman that's had to deal with the loss of losing a black man in her life, from any shape, form, or fashion, because it makes our hearts a little bit harder too. Yeah. You know, so. Yeah, I think that, you know, shining a light too on the struggles and specific to black women, and that, you know, like you said, that a lot of times wind up being the core for a family. Yeah. Even now, I think a lot of times black women are becoming breadwinners for their families, while at the same time having to carry the load of stress and concern. Yeah, no, I think that challenge is not to be overlooked by any means. You know, I think with this situation, obviously there's going to be a lot of focus on black men, and that's not something that I think is wrong. No, there needs to be. But we absolutely cannot forget that our black women are in this with us. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. And I think, you know, we had a conversation, and this, I've talked about it a lot in my vlogs. It's just, we're going to support. We are supporters, you know, and you spoke to it too. But
the focus also very much so needs to be on black men right now, because I don't think that we see as black women y'all potential. And I think that for every black man out there that loves a black woman, especially, y'all don't always see your potential the way we see it, which makes things like this hurt so much.
Yeah.
You know, Nipsey had this goal and he had this dream and he had this vision. And I can almost guarantee you that Lauren's vision and dream was probably even bigger than his for him. And so with that, it's very unfortunate. I think one of the biggest things that I felt, and I'm sure a lot of other black women felt, was when in the memorial services when Lauren said, "You are my turn up and my church." Yeah. Like that hit right here. Like that's everything. Like that's everything. Like you are literally my life.
Yeah.
And to lose that, like I've essentially, yes, you lost your life, but I lost my life too.
That's a piece, yeah.
But I'm still here. And now I have to pick up the pieces of everything that was robbed of me by you being taken. Yeah. You know? So
yeah, that piece of the conversation is so difficult, and you talk about potential. What made Nipsey and his legacy, and what's going to make his legacy so memorable, is that he, from day one, recognized that potential. Mm-hmm. Like he was always in pursuit of that potential. Yeah. And it was always ever growing. Like to the day that he passed, he was always striving for more. Right. And he didn't let circumstances around him slow him down. He didn't let, not having the tools slow him down. He went and got whatever he needed. And it's beautiful the way he did it, because he never sold out. Like he kept the same people around him.
True to himself.
Yeah. That's so unique. Yeah. And that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
That's where it makes him, you mentioned the comparisons with Tupac. That's what puts him in his own category. Right. And obviously, my love for Pac.
I have to say.
Absolutely. And I think they both had a similar compassion for community. Yeah. For specifically black people. Yeah.
And for us to open our eyes. Yeah. To what's going on and also what could be.
Right. Yeah. Yes. And to see that we can be more, and we don't need to go outside of us. We got everything we need right here. And Nipsey, both of them had that same passion that they brought to their music and to their lives. Nipsey, with a bit more time, and I would even say a bit different strategy, was doing the same work in a different way. And I think, as an adult now watching that, I know for myself, and I hope for a lot of other black men, it's time that we start to recognize some of that potential for ourselves. We can't rely on the women in our lives to be unlocking our potential. Right. We have to be bringing that for ourselves and for each other.
That's real. So that kind of brings me to another meme, which I thought was very interesting, and we can definitely talk to this one. And I posted it on my IG story, right? It's a picture of Lauren and Nipsey, and it says, "Dear Black Man, this is why we call 100 times when you don't answer. This is why we're so overprotective. This is why we keep close watch on who y'all call friends. This is why we're all in your business. At the end, we take the biggest loss when they take y'all from us." So, two sides to this one, right?
Right.
I thought it was deep because the underlying issues, the underlying message behind it.
Right.
But then I feel as though there was a lot of women that took this and ran with it and was like, "See, this is why I be calling your phone all the time. I'm trying to figure out where you at. You could be like Nipsey Hussle out here in these streets." Yeah. Which is like, that's not it.
That ain't it. That's not it.
At all. Like, you are not going to mask your insecurities and your need to like blow your man's phone up. Right. Just because he didn't answer and he just left the house 5 minutes ago. Like, where you at? What you doing? Who you with? Like, that's not, I don't think that was exactly the message that was trying to be conveyed.
Yeah.
But I feel like people gonna run with it.
I can see a black woman pinning that message with all the right intention.
Right.
But I think 6 months from now, when this isn't so fresh, I think we'll all look back at that like, how it plays out in real life, like how it actually plays out practically. I could think of circumstances. I'm not gonna get into my own private life.
Please do.
But
it's
very rare that I feel like 100 calls is because, oh my gosh, are you safe? Because when I answer, it ain't no, oh my gosh, are you safe?
There should never be 100 calls. By like the 5th call, and this is the thing, is I'm not gonna call you 5 times, period, unless a long extended time has gone by, and I'm like, okay, you ain't on IG. Like there's nothing that's taking place. Like granted, because you do have the underlying fear of you automatically go into like, okay, now I'm worrying. Mm-hmm. I'm gonna call you a couple times. If you don't answer, I let some time go by, and I mean some time, and I haven't heard from you, and we have that type of relationship. I ain't talking about no man that like I just met you 2 days ago, and I'm basically getting ghosted. Not that that's happened, but I mean like someone that I'm deeply in a relationship with, somebody that I have love for. I would do the same thing with my brother. I do the same thing with my dad, with a friend. But I'm gonna go look for you after a while. I'm gonna start calling mama and everybody else like, if it's that real. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like what I look like calling you 100 times. If you ain't answer by the 10th time, what makes me think you'll answer by the 15th?
Right. Yeah, and that's the thing too is, bring it back to the context of the relationship. Right. For Nip and Lauren London, I'm sure if it did go there, that it would be coming from a place of concern.
Oh yeah.
But for most of us who are still looking for love, if we've had that experience, it didn't feel like that. That's just being real. I will say one thing though, and I'm not coming from a place of insecurity or anything else, but my ex, and this was when police brutality, like it was just case after case after case after case. Yeah. And I did have a moment because I was watching the news and something happened where I was like, where are you? Like, I just need to know. I don't even care where you're at. Like, if you're taking a walk, whatever it is, I just need to make sure that you're safe. Yeah. And that's really what it comes down to. I'm just picturing myself, and that's valid. Yeah. I think those moments are real, but I'm picturing myself catching Shorty going through my phone, and she'd be like, I'm just trying to make sure that you're safe. Like, no, that's
not really how it works. But I guarantee you somebody gonna try it. Like, right. I guarantee you somebody gonna try it. For somebody. It's like, straight up.
I need to check your friends and who's texting you.
Who is so-and-so? Why you asking? Because I just want to make sure. I mean, people getting shout out here by their friends, and you don't know what snakes you got in. Like, you can just see.
No, we gotta flush that one out a little bit more.
No, that's real. That's real. I thought, yes, underlying issue is, we worry about y'all. Yeah. But no, the 100 calls, a little excessive. Knowing about your friends, to an extent, I totally understand that. But again, everything in context. This one was a little extreme.
Yeah, good intention.
Good intention.
And I imagine the woman that wrote this is probably a phenomenal woman.
Oh yeah.
But I think that practically, I don't know how that really applies.
I think it was the last sentence that got me, which is why I reposted it, was this is why we're all in your business, to an extent. At the end of the day, we take the biggest loss when they take y'all from us, which goes back to our first point. Yeah. And that's the part that I felt so deeply with.
And and that part of it is real, especially for us right now. Having to witness Lauren London go through this situation and praise God for her strength. Right. And, really props to her for that. Yeah. But for us all just thinking and praying and really, wishing the best for her, we can only imagine how heavy that must be.
Oh, straight up. Especially when you were with somebody that was making such a big impact. Right. But yeah, so I want to hear from you guys. What are y'all takes on being a black man in America, being a black woman in America, or if you are not one of those things, kind of what your thoughts are on what we go through, to an extent, obviously. So, Vince, I appreciate you. Always appreciate your insight. I wore Tupac just for him because Vince is such a Pac fan. Oh, you know it. Tupac and DMX and Trina are my spirit animals. Okay. So But anyway, this is Lauren Ashley, The Pieces of Me. Follow me on Instagram, The Lauren Ashley. Also on my YouTube, youtube.com/The Lauren Ashley. I want to hear from you guys. Pieces of Me.